What's going on, everyone? Happy almost New Year. Excuse me. Yeah, man, this is we had an amazing year. These past few months have been spectacular. This whole year has just been amazing. And what's even better is that next year is going to be much better. Yeah, man, it's a blessing. Like, I think about it, I'm like, holy crap, like I helped so many people. Like, we grew together. A lot of people have been making so much money. It's an amazing feeling. But then now that I think about it, like, next year is going to be so much better. We're gonna be doing so much better. It's a blessing. It's beautiful that I have this opportunity to just make random YouTube videos and help a bunch of people, post some random tweets and just help people make money. And this is a beautiful life that we're living, man. So yeah, man. All right, so let's just look at this stuff quickly, of the stuff that I posted on Twitter. So we caught this bottom in early October. This inverted head and shoulders. Everyone was like, oh my god, that's it, the market is gonna crash. Look, like, every single time there was a bottom, we called it. All right, I could go back to my tweets probably and look at like the exact dates for these two bottoms as well. But yeah, man, I mean, every single time we had some sort of bottom like this, everyone was like, oh, that's it, oh, the market is crashing. All these random YouTubers that are freaking, I wonder how their portfolios look, man. That they have to show some sort of like portfolio, like, hey, yeah, man, you know, I lost a lot of money recently. But you don't hear any of that stuff. They just like to fearmonger. Anyway, so we fell very dramatically in October, end of September, early October. Caught that bottom beautifully, right? Then we shorted it. We caught the rally, boom, new all-time highs. So, I mean, it was spectacular, right? We shorted early November. Beautiful. This ended up hitting 40-50% in like a day or 2 days, because it was just freaking, it moved so dramatically downward. That worked out perfectly, right? Boom. Early December, again, same concept. Everyone was like, oh my god, that's it. Oh my god, the market is falling. The market is falling. There's no way it's gonna survive. Oh my god, interest rates. Oh, the Fed. We caught that bottom too, right? Boom, almost new all-time highs. But so we alerted shorts here, and within a day, those were up huge as well. So you can see that, you know, we've been calling bottoms and tops. Oh, and then my favorite one. Oh my god, December 20th, right here, right? Everyone was like, okay, there's no way. Like, we came back and retested these bottoms from early December within a month. That's it. The market is top. Oh, that's it. It's over for the bulls. Uh-oh, that's it. Put on your bear suits. What happened to your bear suits? Because new all-time highs within 6 trading days, seven trading days. All right, where are your bear suits? They're nowhere to be found. And yeah, so oh yeah, man, so this is what we've been doing, and it's been working out beautifully. Let me clean up this chart, and let's go ahead and talk about the SPY, the NASDAQ, the IWM, and Bitcoin. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. I didn't really want to get personal towards the end of the year, but I think it's necessary, because heading into the next year, we're going to be making a lot of money. So what you guys need to realize is that as you make more money, your loved ones, the people that are close to you, they're going to start hating. No matter how much help, and no matter how open your heart is, no matter how clean your intentions are, people will not always have the right, like the best in mind for you. So you have to keep that in mind. And what you also have to realize is you can either respond in two ways. You can respond by, just cutting ties with them, which is completely understandable. Or two, you can still help them knowing that they're fake, and keep them at a distance while, continuing to help them. Because you tend to understand that, like, ego has a lot to do with it. Because so say for example, you live in, because I'm in, the tri-state area, right? Say for example, you're from a nice small town in Connecticut, and you start telling your friends, hey guys, I'm making like $500 a day. Not everyone is going to be happy for you. No, you can literally tell them step by step how the hell you made all that money exactly. You can invite them over your house. You can share everything that you're doing with them. At the end of the day, not everyone is going to be happy with it, because some people would rather be broke than take advice and learn how to do something from their peer. So people would rather be broke than take help from you, and that's very self-deprecating and self-sabotaging behavior. So when you realize that people have those tendencies about them, you can't take it personally. Because if you're giving someone the opportunity to show them, like, yo, look, I'm making $100, $200 a day just doing this, I can show you how to do it too. And if they're not willing to put in the work because they have an ego associated with you, then you can't take it personally, because they don't properly respect themselves. So if they don't properly respect themselves, they'll never respect you. So you have to keep that in mind. All right, so number one on the SPY, as we broke this uptrend here, I alerted that we were getting into some SPY puts. I also alerted that we were getting, like, I would want to buy into some puts for a few weeks out, but I didn't end up doing that. I just bought into the weekly puts. So yeah, those weekly puts ended up going for 40% intraday. But now, right, as you can see that the SPY is starting to show some weakness, and we're approaching this trend line here. If we break below this trend line, I believe that is going to be a good opportunity to go short as well. So tomorrow, that level is going to be, the level that essentially needs to hold on the SPY is going to be approximately 476.11. So if 476.11 breaks, that is going to be a nice little confirmation to go short, right? Because that would essentially mean that multiple layers of momentum to the upside is now showing, downside momentum. So obviously we don't want to go short until we get confirmation. So this would be a good confirmation. So that level for tomorrow, 476.11, needs to essentially break down below for us to get into short. As you can also see, the RSI is moving downwards. You can see that the MACD was, it was very, very overbought here. It's starting to curl down. And what I was saying was, it's completely normal for, like, we caught this bottom here, guys. We caught this bottom perfectly. And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ridiculous green candles. And then this red candle was barely red. So it was 6 consecutive new highs. So obviously we're going to show some sort of weakness, some sort of stagnation in the market. It's completely normal, right? So now is definitely not the time to put on your bear suits. If anything, even if we do fall back down to 472, even into like the high 460s, it would just be a good dip buying opportunity, because this is literally just a straight line up. So it's, we need to essentially now see and create some sort of a pattern. We need to see some sort of a base form somewhere, and where that base will form will basically help us judge how vigorously we should go long. So again, that level holding tomorrow is going to be important, but most likely, I don't think that this should hold, because if the SPY continues going upward, I mean, that is going to be ridiculous. if the SPY continues going upward without coming back to retest, even 473, 475, that is going to be ridiculous. Imagine how much retail investors will not even be in this rally because they were just waiting for a pullback. And I was saying for weeks that the maximum pain to retail traders is seeing a rally and not being able to enter it. So thankfully, we got into it before the rally even happened. So it was spectacular. We had a really, really good month. We caught every single bottom. I alerted all of them on Twitter, made videos on them, while the rest of YouTube was very bearish. I was the only one friggin' sharing these trades with you guys. You think I want to share trades with people and, make you guys lose money? No, I share this stuff knowing that hopefully this is going to work. High probability trades. I don't take that lightly. And thankfully they've worked every single time. So now, just chill out, be comfortable, be patient, wait for the trade to come to you. And that's what we've been doing every single time. So yeah, essentially tomorrow we have to wait for that level. And there's that on the SPY. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the NASDAQ. All right, not to regurgitate not to regurgitate too much, right? But this overextension to the downside was the reason why we went long on the NASDAQ, right? Because we were very, very overextended to the downside on the Bollinger Bands. And we caught this bottom beautifully. We caught it literally as it was touching this trend line. And, you know, it worked out literally perfectly. So now, as you can see, the NASDAQ is failing to close above 402 and 403, which is these two important resistance lines here. We can also see that the MACD is curling down below. Again, completely normal. But the RSI is moving a bit stagnant to the downside. That doesn't necessarily mean too much, but sometimes in the past, what that has meant is, especially after a huge rally, when the RSI begins to stagnate, that could mean that, there could be like a huge move to the downside in the short term. But what we want to see is the RSI act very dramatically. So if the NASDAQ moves to the downside, if the NASDAQ comes back and retests 397, 398, we want to see the RSI move very dramatically to the downside. What this would tell us is that there is a lot more strength to the upside. That if a small little whiff of a move on the NASDAQ stock price causes the RSI to fall that much, that means that there's a lot of strength to the upside. And yeah, that's essentially what we want to see moving forward. So yeah, I mean, right now the NASDAQ is failing at 402, it's failing at 403. The next levels of support are going to obviously be this 397 level, the 398 level, completely normal, you know, the 400 level. But again, yeah, I mean, guys, we had a huge rally from 1 to these rallies were not even normal. We didn't even come back and retest any levels of support. The prior days, on December 23rd, we didn't come back and retest support. On December 27th, there was not even a lower wick. We didn't even make a low. we opened and just continued going up. So yeah, man, having some sort of retracement, completely normal. There's no reason to fear anything. There's no reason to think bearishly. Until there is a reason to become bearish in the market, then, you know, that is when buying the dips would be a bit more scary. But until that happens, we're just going to continue buying the dips and we're just going to continue making money. And that's it. So yeah, hopefully these levels of support hold on the NASDAQ. What I really want to look at now is the IWM. So let's go ahead and take a look at the IWM. All right, so the IWM, all the time when I look at the IWM, it's always a very messy chart, right? But just don't get boggled up in all of the trend lines. Right now, what I want to show you guys is that the MACD on the RSI, or MACD on the IWM is pointed downwards, right? But the IWM stock price is still holding support. So that is very, very bullish. When a momentum indicator is showing downward momentum, yet the stock price is still holding its support, that is very bullish, right? And what you also have to understand is that January, historically, the IWM leads. And I know this because I've made the most money in my entire life trading the IWM. And I love the IWM because it moves like a beast, right? So, yeah, I mean, the IWM in January outperforms usually. And what I think is going to end up happening is, again, you know, because banks and hedge funds, they want to take their money out of winning indices and winning positions and put their money into losers. So, for example, the NASDAQ and a lot of these huge, like, stocks that have made huge runs, right? Slowly, these hedge funds and 50-50 funds and banks and everything, they're going to take their money out of those winning positions and slowly put them into the IWM positions, the stocks in the Russell 2000, because there's so much more upside. As you can see, currently, right now, the IWM, 2 new all-time highs is about 10%, right? Or 9%, whatever. The NASDAQ, I mean, obviously, like, if you want to play risk reward, it's only 2%. The SPY, I mean, you know, 0.5%. So obviously the IWM has the most upside potential, right? So you have to think about it in terms of a bank or a hedge fund. If you have billions of dollars and you're heading into a new year where, you know, you don't need to file as many taxes until the next year, and you don't need to worry about those things. You can put money into losing indices. You can show your investors, hey, I had an amazing month. We just made so much money. Give us more money so that we can invest more for you for the rest of the year. And then you make a bunch of money early on in quarter one, get a bunch of these rich people and billionaires and stuff to give you some more millions of dollars. Hey, call your friends and family. Like, look what I just did for you this month. Call your friends and family. Tell them to give me money also. And then that's the game. This is literally the game. You just manipulate the market. Everyone's on the same page. All of these banks and hedge funds, they know what they're doing. And yeah, man, the name of the game is to have as much control over money as possible. They don't want retail investors to control as much of the market, because they know that retail investors have genuine strength when united. And if that is the case, then that, you know, we saw what happened with GameStop. They don't want that. So yeah, man, the IWM, I feel, should have a very, very winning month in January, as it normally does. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at essentially the level that needs to break now for the all right, so clearly we can see that the 225.11 level is a very clear level of resistance. We failed at that level multiple times, right? The 220 level is a clear level of support. So now the IWM is basically just going to continue bouncing around that level, blah, 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 until we see definitive strength in some direction. Essentially, we need to see it close and hold above this 225 level for the IWM to really show that it's going to become bullish. Once that happens, that is a very clear and, you know, safe indication that the IWM is going to continue on bullish. And at that point, you can buy into calls for maybe 1 to 2 months out. And that would be spectacular. Similarly, you can see that the RSI is stagnant. So what we want to see is, if the IWM does fall, we want to see a collapse in the RSI, even though, you know, we have a small move to the downside in the actual stock price. So yeah, man, I mean, we just have to really monitor what is going on with the SPY, the NASDAQ, to get a good indication of what's also going on, or what's going to happen with the IWM. But I mean, yeah, these are the levels. You got to zoom out and you got to think like a bank and a hedge fund, and just be aware. Be aware of the potential move on the IWM. Again, I could be completely wrong. I could be completely wrong about everything. That's why we just trade the charts and we trade the levels purely, right? I could be completely wrong about my analysis on what these banks and hedge funds want to do, blah, blah, blah. But this 225 level and then these trend lines, are, if they break, those are going to be very, very important. So yeah, just keep that in mind. That's my analysis on the SPY, the NASDAQ, and the IWM heading into the end of the year. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. All right, Bitcoin doesn't look too good. So this is not the best scenario for Bitcoin, because so as you can see, yes, the MACD is now oversold, right? Yes, we held this level of support above 46,000, right? That's completely fine. But we had a very small green day. What was this? We went up about $500-$600. The RSI, look the RSI moved up in a, you know, even if it didn't move up a lot, the fact that it still moved up in this way after a very, very small movement in the actual Bitcoin price is not a good sign. So what could end up happening is we're going to come back, retest this trend line here, 47.6, and then maybe come back down. And that is when I think the market should come back and we should retest this 45,000 level, and then even potentially this 44,000 level. From there, that is when I want to see the Bitcoin really, really rip to the upside. But again, you have to realize is that banks and hedge funds are now involved in the market heavily. Banks and hedge funds now allocate a certain percentage of their billions of dollars of portfolio to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So they know that retail investors are expecting January to be very bullish for crypto. So if they know that retail investors are expecting January to be very, very bullish for crypto, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to make it so that retail investors don't make money. So yeah, man, you gotta keep that in mind as well. And you have to really just, you gotta, control, you gotta manage your funds and manage your risk properly. Because now this is the prior pumps and the prior cycles of Bitcoin were completely done by rich people. It was just done by retail rich people, like nerds on nerds in Silicon Valley that created this technology early on, and drug dealers. Those are literally the early adopters of cryptocurrency. So they were the main reason why those cycles and everything happened, etc. Now that banks and hedge funds are involved in this space, it's a completely different ballgame. So just be careful. I do think that Bitcoin is going to come back down to 45,000. But yeah, man, I mean, you can see that it's closing above this trend line here. We have 14 minutes left until the daily close. We're about to maybe close above this downtrend line. And then we can come back and retest 47, 48, right? But again, I don't think I said that we were going to fail at this level at 51. We failed and we had a huge just collapse, right? So I don't think we're going to come back and like make a V-shaped recovery. But yeah, just be careful. I really want the market to come back and retest 43,000. That would be a great opportunity to go long again. And then, we might have a month of, just stagnant movement, blah, blah, blah. But just be careful. That's my analysis on Bitcoin. There's my analysis on the stock market. Overall, I hope you guys had an amazing year. We're going to definitely have a much, much better year next year. And yeah, man, stick around and you will find out. So yeah, we're going to grow together. We're going to make money together. We're going to become better versions of ourselves together. And that's just what we do. So yeah, man, I love you all and I'm very grateful for all of you guys. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Thank you.